Welcome to Storied Audio. Ethan and Marissa had built a life that felt steady and warm, like the glow from the kitchen light that always stayed on a little too late. Their small home echoed with laughter, especially from their 8-year-old daughter Lily, whose giggles seemed to hold everything together. Ethan worked long hours, but he never came home empty. Sometimes it was flowers for Marissa, sometimes a silly toy for Lily, sometimes just a new story to tell over dinner. Marissa balanced everything with quiet strength, the kind that made their house feel safe. But the world had a way of slipping through the cracks. Her brother Tyler had always been trouble. It started small. Missed jobs, borrowed money never returned, stories that never quite added up. Marissa always believed him. "He's not just struggling, Marissa," Ethan said one night, his voice calm but firm. "He's dangerous. And I don't want that around Lily." Marissa sighed. "He's my brother. I can't just turn my back on him." "I'm not asking you to," Ethan replied. "I'm asking you to protect our daughter." She looked at him then, hurt flashing across her face. "You think I wouldn't do that? I think you don't see him clearly." That was the first crack. Life went on. Dinners were made, homework was checked, bedtime stories were read. But the tension lingered, quiet and persistent. Until the day everything broke. Ethan was at work when Marissa made the decision. Tyler had called, sounding desperate. He needed a place to stay for the afternoon. Just a few hours, he said. He'd watch Lily, give Marissa a break. He sounded sincere. So she said yes. When Ethan found out, he left work immediately, his heart pounding with fear. Every worst-case scenario raced through his mind. When he pulled into the driveway, he knew something was wrong before he even stepped inside. Music blasted through the house. Loud voices. Laughter that didn't belong. He threw the door open. Strangers filled the living room. Bottles scattered across the table. Smoke hung in the air. And Lily? She sat on the stairs, small and quiet, clutching her stuffed animal, eyes wide. Something in Ethan snapped. "Everybody out," he roared. The room went still, then erupted into protests and drunken mutters. "I said get out," he shouted again. One by one they started to leave, grumbling as they pushed past him. Tyler lingered. "You're overreacting," he said with a smirk. "It's just a little fun." Ethan stepped closer. "You had my daughter here. She's fine." That word, fine, felt like gasoline on a fire. "You don't get to decide that." Tyler shoved him. It happened fast after that. The fight was brutal, fueled by months of frustration and fear. Ethan didn't hold back. By the time it was over, Tyler was on the ground, bloodied and cursing. Marissa arrived just in time to see the aftermath. She rushed to her brother's side. "What did you do?" she cried. Ethan started, but Tyler cut him off. "He lost it," Tyler said. "I told him to calm down, but he just went crazy." Marissa looked at Ethan, her eyes filled with shock and something worse. Fear. "You hurt him," she whispered. "He endangered Lily." Ethan shot back. But she wasn't hearing him anymore. That night everything changed. The arguments were louder. Sharper. Every word felt like a blade. And then came the papers. Divorce. Marissa claimed Ethan was dangerous. That she feared for their daughter's safety. He couldn't believe it. But the court did. She was granted sole custody. Ethan moved to another city, a place that felt too quiet without Lily's laughter. But every weekend without fail he drove back to see her. He never missed one. Lily didn't understand. "Why don't you live with us anymore?" she asked one afternoon. Ethan swallowed hard. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes," he said gently. "But your mom and I both love you very much." She nodded, but her eyes filled with tears. "I just want us to be together again." He pulled her into a hug. "I know." Back at home, Marissa felt the emptiness too. Lily talked about Ethan constantly, his jokes, the things he taught her, how much she missed him. One night, Lily looked up at her and said, "Can I stay with Dad longer?" Marissa forced a smile. "We'll see." But when Lily went to bed, Marissa broke down. Because she missed him too. She missed the quiet moments, the shared smiles, the way he always understood her. And then there was Tyler. The truth came crashing down piece by piece. He stole money from their parents. Lied without blinking. Got arrested. More than once. Every time he had an excuse. Every time she had believed him. Until she couldn't anymore. The realization was unbearable. Ethan had been right. And she had chosen wrong. The guilt settled deep in her chest. One Friday as she drove Lily to Ethan's place, her hands trembled. "Can I talk to him for a minute?" she asked softly when they arrived. Lily nodded and ran inside. Marissa stayed on the porch. Ethan stepped out, surprised to see her. "Can we talk?" she asked. He hesitated then nodded. They sat in silence for a moment. "I'm sorry," she said finally, her voice breaking. "I should have believed you. I should have protected our daughter, and us." Ethan said nothing. Tears streamed down her face. "I made a terrible mistake." He looked away, jaw tight. "I still love you," she whispered. "I never stopped." The words hung in the air. "I would do anything to fix this." Ethan exhaled slowly. "I'll always care about you, Marissa. But you broke my trust. You made me out to be someone I'm not." "I know," she said. "And I hate myself for it." She stood, wiping her tears. "I understand if it's too late." She turned to leave. But then, his hand caught hers. She froze. "I'm not saying no," he said quietly. "I just need time." Hope flickered in her chest. She turned back, a small smile forming. "Okay." She stepped forward and hugged him, holding on tightly. And this time he didn't pull away. After that, things changed. Fully. They started spending more time together. Dinners, outings, small moments that felt like pieces of their old life returning. Lily noticed. She laughed more. Smiled more. The light in her eyes came back. Months passed. One evening, as they stood in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, their hands brushed. Marissa looked up. Ethan leaned in and kissed her. It was soft. Hesitant. Perfect. She let out a quiet laugh, tears in her eyes. "I've wanted that for so long." "So have I," he admitted. Not long after, Marissa and Lily moved into his home in the new city. Lily didn't mind changing schools. "I just want us to be together," she said. And now they were. Their home felt whole again. Not perfect, but stronger. One afternoon, Marissa opened the mail and saw Tyler's name. Her stomach turned. Inside was a letter asking for money. Promises. Excuses. The same old story. He didn't hesitate. She crumpled it and threw it in the trash. Then she walked into the living room where Ethan and Lily were laughing. She smiled. This was her family. And she wasn't risking it again. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.